But you should tell me more about these shootings at cars, because I haven't heard about that actually.
Yeah, recently, this has been over the past couple weeks. Now, the anti-whites are getting out into the streets. Everybody knows, they see this. Looks like my screen froze over here. Let me just, looks like on my frozen screen, Wildfang was asking, no white guilt, if you were a fish, would you be known as Jason Tuna?
Barracuda, surely.
I would be Barracuda, great white. Barracuda, that's funny.
That's cool.
Yeah. Jason Barracuda, or just great white. That's fine too.
Great, that's true.
And other, let's see if I can get this to work. All right, it's fixed. So the anti-whites, they get out into the streets and they stop your car. They damage, they destroy your car. They're looking for white people in cars. And when they can, and not in all cases, I mean, we've seen where there have been a couple cases where there have been non-white people in the vehicle. It's been nighttime and the anti-whites have not been able to see that it was a non-white person in the car that they were attempting to stop and terrorize. But they see the white people. And this, by the way, started when Trump first got elected, when Donald first entered the office. I mean, if people remember, I'm sure you all do, where they were the guy at a traffic light. There's so many videos. It seems an injustice to mention any of them. And just think, for every video, there's probably 100 times that it happened without somebody videotaping it. But the guy had a Trump bumper sticker. So the anti-white, non-whites got out of the car, out of their cars. They went up to his car. They yanked the door open. They dragged him out. They beat the hell out of him. So anyhow, they stopped the cars in the United States. People pull up. They slow down. They stop. They begin bashing the windows in. They terrorize the people. It is pure terror and terrorism that they are inflicting on these people. They very often drag them out of the vehicle. We've all seen the videos now where they drag them out, they beat them, they run off with the vehicle, maybe even set the vehicle on fire. Of course, none of that is true. Just check with MSNBC. And so what's happened is, in many places, is white people become terrified when they see this. Obviously, they are frightened. And then they think, well, my God, I'm going to have to drive. I'm just going to have to drive through or drive around them. By God, let them get out of the way. I'll slow down or whatever. And so white people have started doing this. And of course, some non-white people have as well. And what has happened in some of these cases is anti-whites have been harmed by the vehicles going by, or they have pretended to be harmed by the vehicles going by. And now, over the past couple weeks, the anti-whites have said, well, if they're going to run us over, if they're going to not allow us to cave their skull in and to cave their windshield in and to cave all the doors and trunk and everything in their car and what they've worked for, what they have to pay car payments on, or if it's a heap, they're working class people and they've got to do everything they can just to keep the junk working. And now you're going to have a bunch of anti-white destroyers destroy your vehicle. If you're not going to allow us to do this to you, then, and you're going to respond by trying to drive through us, well, in two occasions so that I've seen in the news so far, and perhaps people can tell me if there are more. And in one, there's an actual video of a white anti-white, what appears to be a white, someone with light skin, anti-white, with a handgun, fires around into the cabin of the vehicle as it drives by.
What?
Yeah, trying to get away, not allowing themselves to have their heads caved in, not allowing themselves to be made into bed. And in another case, the news reported that the driver, a white man, big shock, shot in the head as he tried to drive away from one of these mobs. And of course, these are hush crimes. If this, you're saying what, and you would not be saying what in the UK if this had been reversed. If it was a bunch of white people out in the street that tried to stop non-white people in their vehicles and to terrorize them, to drag them out of their cars, to cave their heads in, and then the non-white person tried to escape and they were shot in the head for doing so, you would know the non-white person's name. And the church and the news and entertainment media would be moving as fast as heaven and earth could move to beatify the non-white person, make a whole new cause celeb out of that individual and a whole new set of excuses to commit atrocities against us. But instead you say, what? How is this happening? And it's because it's a hush crime. It contradicts the anti-white narrative. And I'm glad, or at least we hope it hasn't happened in the UK. You haven't heard of it happening there?
Oh, there are so many awful things, I mean, happening here, but I haven't heard of these in particular. I mean, what amazes me is that, yeah, we're in the middle of the road. If you don't want to get over, run over, sorry. I mean, yeah, the idea that you can run in front of a moving vehicle in the middle of the road and still class this as oppression, um, to not be permitted to do so. I just don't know who these people are. But I mean, what? So people are going to have to now live their lives working around these giant inconsiderate. I know it sounds so British to say it's inconsiderate, but that's another thing. People have got jobs to go to. Maybe they want to rush their kids to hospital if they're having an asthma attack or something. For Christ's sake, people carry their kids in the back of these cars. These are family vehicles. Maybe want to have a nice day out at the beach. But this is the thing. What about ambulance drivers? I mean, paramedics, they need these lanes to get through. It's so selfish. It's a form of terrorism, and it really bugs me because it's the selfish, sort of inconsiderate nature of that. I can't stand it.